Hello. Don't all the crowds are gonna stream in now. Just prepare yourself, calm yourself, get ready. Prepare yourself for the safari you're gonna go on, or what's going on behind you. Like, what is? Where are you?
Do it. We're gonna have a very good time.
Oh.
Woo! This is gonna be some non-denominational. Oh wait, that's Santa Claus. All right. You know what? I think we're just gonna settle on one.
Oh my God! Is that Viking Santa Claus?
It is. Yeah, I wanted it to be like a Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas.
Well,
I was going to talk about Christmas.
It's like a little Sailor Moon moment in the top.
It is, yeah.
There's like a little Sailor Moon. Did you ever watch Sailor Moon growing up, or
No, I didn't have TV
at all?
Grew up completely off the grid. My parents built their house in the late 70s in the middle of the woods, and they dug a well and solar panels. And
you're fucking with me right now.
I'm not. And so they built a barn first for the animals. Then they said they were going to build their house, but the barn was so much work. They moved into the barn. So I actually was raised in a barn. Hence my manners.
Where did the animals live?
They ended up just getting like dogs and cats and chickens and stuff. So
where was it?
It's in La Honda.
Is it a secret? Do you not want to tell anyone?
It's unincorporated La Honda.
Okay, it's an unincorporated La Honda. So hello, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Manny, and welcome to Manny's Super Civic Cyber Conversations, where we are continuing our goal and our mission to civically engage the public in this time of need. Today, we're joined by my friend and fellow board member of the Valencia Merchants Association, Tyler McNiven.
I'm not that bored. Sorry, I don't mean to pick on you.
He has his own one-man show, which he's launching today in this conversation. No, he's a very funny man, but also a very serious businessman and
That's
very
true.
and his name is Tyler McNiven. He comes from the very famed and esteemed McNiven clan, which I'm being a little like inappropriate here, but is it an Irish family, McNiven?
Scottish name.
Scottish, excuse me, please forgive me.
All the same. A cold rock covered in puffin poop.
Yes, well, you can say that. I can't say that.
Okay.
But I'm going to let you say that. We both own small businesses on Valencia, and Tyler also, what's so interesting about him is that his whole family is a restaurant family, and so we're going to talk about that and also how he's feeling about everything that's going on in the world today and coronavirus.
And we're going to do it in iambic pentameter.
Yes, and in 15 minutes. And then you guys can start asking your questions. If you have questions of Tyler, just go ahead and type them into the Q&A box. If everyone could please raise your hand. I can't see you, but if you can press the raise your hand button, I'd love to know who's. So just raise your hand. I see Nadine, I see George, I see Eli or Ellie, Alyssa, Dave, Deborah, Marianne, Sheil. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for being here. So Tyler, what restaurant do you own? Can you tell folks?
Yeah, so I own West of Pecos on Valencia. My brothers and I run combined the Woodhouse Fish Company. There are 2 locations in San Francisco, Wooden Spoon, and then another family restaurant is Buck's Restaurant, which is in Woodside, about 40 minutes south of San Francisco. It's been around 29 years.
Whoa, okay, so that is, I'm not really good at math, but I think that was 4 restaurants, right?
It's 5, so 2 Woodhouses, yeah.
I was thinking 5 and I said 4, but I meant 5. So, but you grew up with parents that were in the restaurant industry, and you grew up in this restaurant Buck's. Is that correct?
Yeah, grew up in the restaurant Buck's. I would do my homework in the back, eat a giant plate of French fries and a milkshake at night. And Woodside is a small town. There's about 5,000 people. We were in there before the kind of .com billionaires started moving in, but the small town feeling and being able to know almost anyone who walked through the doors and have that connection point, as you know so well, Manny, is such a valuable thing. It really kind of distills the essence of what it is to be a gregarious species. We are, at our core, this biological sack of guts, and part of our success is that we work together and we connect. And so the family business, we really see it as this kind of satisfying this primal urge of our human nature, where we're creating these clean, comfortable, safe watering holes where people can come throughout their day to nourish themselves, to have conversations, to be with friends and family. And the magic of the restaurant business is everybody walks in. It's newborn babies, fresh from the hospital. It's people on their final days.
Newborn babies aren't really walking in so much, you know.
They're
very strong.
Down where we're from, the newborns walk. Yeah. Yeah, I was walking at
3 days.
No, it's 12 hours is what they tell me. Yeah. Yeah, so it's very satisfying to be in the restaurant business if you have an appetite for humanity and you like meeting people and connecting, and it's a lifestyle. It's truly a lifestyle because it's kind of always on. It's not a 9 to 5 where you just turn off at the end of the day. You're always humming and moving, and there's always questions being fired at you. Right. But we like that, and we've been doing it for a long time. And with our restaurants here in San Francisco, we really wanted to bring a lot of the small town hospitality and feel that we learned down in Woodside to each of our establishments. So we really celebrate creating a nurturing, hospitable culture with our employees, all the staff that bring people in, make them feel special. We always say we deliver amazing food, amazing drinks, awesome atmosphere, and incredible service.
Right.
And that's just as important as all the other aspects.
I want to stay in Bucks for a second. And that image of you eating in the back of house with a plate of French fries and a milkshake is so beautiful. But is there one memory also that just sticks in your mind about the way your parents ran that restaurant that you took into the way you and your brothers have decided to run your restaurants in particular? Maybe a memory that stuck with you, or a certain encounter with a customer, or something that they did that you're like, I want to make sure that I do that in my restaurant.
You know, it's really interesting that you asked that question, because there is one specific, very small moment that I identified as being something that really influenced my behavior with, and that was this moment where my dad kind of like he called an employee out. He said their name in a really fun, loud way. Okay. Like, let's say I think the employee was Nadine. He's like, "Hey, Nadine!" And it was like, wow, that was the way that you'd kind of talk to a friend. It was very uplifting, and it was free, and he was expressing himself, and he just had this comfortable way of saying this employee's name. And I thought, wow, he's really like having fun.
Yeah, I mean, and that's such a big, I've only been an owner of a physical small business for a little bit, for only a year and a half. But if you're having a good time and you're enjoying it, it kind of infects everyone, to use an appropriately timely word. Like it kind of spreads, you know, and is contagious. You know, it just kind of,
it allows people to also have a good time, because they say, oh, Manny, he's having a good time. And then when you celebrate them having a good time, then it encourages that. And I think it's being like playfully professional. You know, right. Sure, I'm having a good time. I'm not going to take it to an area that is going to make anyone feel uncomfortable. But,
Nadine Rose, are you the Nadine that he's talking about? Or are you just someone named Nadine? Oh, she can't actually speak. There's someone named Nadine who is on this call right now, and it may have been the Nadine. We don't know.
I hope so.
Oh, that would be great. Okay, so what was the first restaurant, Tyler, that your brothers opened? Oh, you're not that Nadine.
That's that's too bad. Yeah, so my brothers first opened Woodhouse, and I had just raced around the world on a reality show called The Amazing Race.
Oh my God, you're Amazing Race?
Yeah, and so when they opened it, I had just won The Amazing Race, and I was like, I don't need to work in a restaurant business. I'm out of here. And my brothers are like, fine, we're going to open these restaurants. And what happened was, after I tried to become a filmmaker for about 5 years, and I was making movies, but I didn't really get the business model or the sustainability aspect of it. I was just taking all my Amazing Race earnings and pushing it into these documentaries, and they were incredible. I was having a good time, but I was also watching my brothers manage teams, create cultures, interact with their community, and grow as leaders and as people. And I really respected what they were doing. And so when I turned 30, I kind of turned around and I hung my head low and I said, all right, guys, I'm tired of like gallivanting. Let's get to work.
Got it.
And then the next restaurant that we opened was West of Pecos on Valencia, and I was fortunate enough to just say, hey, I want to take the lead on this one.
So I want to get into I want to double down on the role of restaurants in society. But before we do that, I want to talk about my favorite West of Pecos memory. Do you think you know which one it is? You were involved in it.
Was it outside by the fireplaces?
No.
There were so many.
It's when you smushed Andrew Yang and me into that table in the back corner. Remember that?
That still haunts me.
No, it was fun. I brought Andrew Yang there for dinner, and we all like smushed into a booth, like 19 of us, and it was great. Everyone was elbow to elbow, and it was actually just beautiful because we all got to just kind of sit on top of each other.
Yeah, and Andrew Yang walked into the restaurant, and I just reached my arms out and laser beamed him. I'm like, "Come here." Yes. And he gave me a big hug, and he just hugged me and I basically pretended like I knew him. And he's like, well, I meet so many people, I'm just going to assume I know you.
Yes.
Like, I do the same thing. I'm a restaurateur. You just pretend like you know everybody, and then no one gets offended.
You do that. Okay. So also, if you guys have questions, you can type them into the Q&A box. We're going to be opening up to questions in 8 minutes or thereabouts. So before we get into how all this is affecting y'all's restaurant, I want to ask you about the role of the restaurant in city life. We've talked about it a little bit and how everyone comes into a restaurant, but in all of your years, both growing up in the restaurant industry and now owning restaurants with you and Dylan and Rowan, what do you see as some of the roles of a restaurant, a physical restaurant, to sit down and eat in a city life?
Wow, the roles of a restaurant. So I did touch on this in my last answer, kind of pulling back to who we are as a species and what we need to survive: food, shelter, clothing. So at the base of it, we're providing food and temporary shelter. But beyond that, we're creating an environment for people to connect, to be together in real time. This is not kind of what we're doing now, which is FaceTiming. I'm sure all of us have imagined and have been fantasizing about weeks, months from now, let's be honest, months, maybe years from now, when we can all go back to a restaurant.
Yeah.
Having it taken away from us shows us how important that kind of engagement is. I mean, even some of the names I'm seeing pop up here in the participants, I just am so excited to see these folks again at the restaurant, to hug them, to bring a guacamole to the table, to watch them slurp down margaritas, and to pay me when they walk out. No, just kidding about that part. But although not really. I mean, that's a nice part of the restaurant business, is people pay you right away. But yeah, that real time connection, that nourishment, that the opportunity to be hospitable and to benefit people's lives. I've had people walk into the restaurant so cranky and upset, hangry, bad day, and leave trying to stuff money in my hand and my pockets, saying, please, like, you helped me. I was in need. You showered me with kindness. I feel so much better. Our bartenders are therapists. Our managers and our servers are therapists to a certain degree. Our chefs are heroes. Our bussers are making it all happen, keeping it together. I feel so incredibly proud of our team and what we're able to provide for people. And I think what I try to get across to the staff, and what I think they do a really good job doing, is so many people remember so many people forget what they ate or the food or the drink as much. They don't remember that as well as how they felt at a place. You leave like, how did I feel at that place? And it always sticks in your mind when you're treated poorly, or you weren't respected, or they didn't treat you kindly, or they shoved you aside. But if you're celebrated, or if you're just given a moment of like appreciation, then you want to go back to that place. It's safe, it's comforting. And even if the food's just average,
the world is becoming lonelier and lonelier. And so when you go into a place and you feel community and you feel human contact, it reminds you of the importance of human community. And you can get that at a good restaurant. Which leads me to my next question. Why do you think you and your brother's restaurants have survived in what is an extremely competitive and complicated and difficult industry, and in a very difficult economy Why do you think that your 5 restaurants, 4 in San Francisco, have been able to make it so long?
A lot of survival, like in the animal kingdom, depends on your ability to adapt.
Mhm.
We Yelp, while it's a painful messaging tool to some business owners, when you say, "Oh, the guacamole is too salty," and you're like, "Oh, freaking salty!" You get so upset. But they're a valuable tool. Like,
For us, it's they didn't have decaf espresso.
oh, you, then that's why I only gave you 3 stars.
That's it. Right there. That's all I need.
Yeah. So you have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to listen. You have to be able to hear what people need and want. And you need to change your menu. You need to adjust your prices. You need to constantly be tweaking and adjusting dials. And it's so easy for all of us to just say, all right, I got it to where it works, and I'm going to stop and just hope it keeps working. Right. But if you're not constantly relieving pressure here, adding some new flavor there. Also, we have an incredible team. I want to give a shout out to our chef, August, who makes the most amazing food. August! You know, general manager at Pecos, Lisa, just the team that we've put together is absolutely top paramount to our success. And they are the ones that help implement all these adjustments and help us adapt to survive.
And how is everything going now that we are all being told to stay in our apartments and all of our spaces have been asked to close? How are you guys handling it all?
Well, we've locked up and unfortunately boarded our restaurants, but because we do have, when we open up again, everyone who's worked for us will be invited back in. We've also, as of last night, turned on to-go deliveries for the Woodhouse Fish Company. So if you feel like a lobster roll, a buttered Dungeness crabs grilled sandwich, crab cakes, fish tacos,
not kosher,
hot clam chowder, it's all not kosher. Don't worry about that.
Your clam chowder is kosher.
My clam chowder is kosher. We're going to do a little koshering ceremony right now. There it is.
That's a wrong religion. You need a yarmulke.
Is this close? There we go. So if you go to Caviar, DoorDash, any of the platforms, look for Woodhouse Fish Company. We're open from 4 to 8 right now. We're hoping to expand the hours, grow the business. It really helps out our local businesses and really keeping our key employees who are going to be fundamental to us reopening, employed and keeping them engaged and keeping them paid. So please, to-go orders through restaurants, not just Woodhouse, showing people that this is that you are going to support them through this hard time. It means so much, and it also just means that these good gathering spaces will reopen, right, or have the possibility, an increased possibility of reopening when the time comes.
Right. Okay. My last question to you, Sir Tyler, my friend, my neighbor, my mentor, my confidant,
spirit guide,
my ingenue, is Valencia. You've been on Valencia for a long time. You've seen Valencia change a lot as well. What do you think is the secret and the magic of Valencia? Why do so many people come there? Why is it so special? Like, why Valencia? What is it?
Valencia is the longest corridor privately.
Not the city in Spain, the commercial corridor in the Mission in San Francisco.
Gotcha. Okay. So Valencia is a unique place on the planet Earth. It is the longest stretch of privately owned mom and pop businesses in, at least in America. I think we have 2 chain stores. There's a Chase Bank and a T-Mobile. And other than that, it's people like Manny, it's McNiven's. Our neighbors it's a family that live in the building of the Mexican restaurant next door to us. Next door to them is Blondie's. It's a mother and a daughter operation. Across the street is Casanova. That is a husband-wife team. Right next to that, Laconda, RIP. Craig and Annie Stoll, incredible operators, husband-wife team. Right. It's families, it's husband-wife teams, it's partners. It's such a close, interconnected, small business mecca.
Yeah.
And because of that, it retains it's something very special, and that is there's nothing like it in the world. If you go to any strip mall, you walk around and you see these places, you're like, oh, I've kind of been here. It doesn't matter what state you're in. It's like, I've been here. Valencia, when you're walking on Valencia, you have not been there. No. It is a one of a kind. It is a thumbprint from the divine ether. And we are very lucky to have it. We're very lucky to be members of it. Valencia itself is a small town. There are they're, such amazing business owners like yourself, Manny, who really contribute to what is the global phenomenon that is Valencia. I'm so incredibly proud to be on the quarter. We're at the Valencia Quarter of Merchants. Little shout out to them, making sure that any of the businesses that come in are meeting criteria of having 10 or fewer chains. If there had been 10 Mannies, we would have not allowed the 11th Manny to enter 16th of Valencia.
We're a long ways away from that.
We're a long ways, but.
Okay, so if anyone has questions for Tyler, now is the time. Now is your opportunity to ask questions from him about what it's like to run a restaurant in San Francisco, what it's like to be part of a famous restaurant family in San Francisco. I'm going to call it famous, or anything else. We only have one question right now, which is who styles your mustache? And what meme would you create to describe it? From Peter Anders.
So this actually grows out this way. Yeah, this is how it grows. And I guess my meme would be like, these are the handlebars that are steering our country's coronavirus reaction right now. And as they go all over the place, you could say, oh, it's not Trump's fault, it's Tyler's mustache. So, yeah.
Okay. From Nadine, let's be clear, not the Nadine of Nadine fame, but fame in her own right, or his own right, or their own right, I don't know. Where does your family go out to eat in San Francisco? That's a great question.
Yeah, well, we do eat at our own restaurants a lot. I really like to eat at West of Pecos. It's the restaurant I eat more than any of the other ones. But places that are not our restaurants, you guys may have tried Manny's. We get a lot of...
I have not seen you at Manny's, actually, for a long time.
What? I've been there a lot lately.
Okay.
You're just never there. You're slacking.
That's not true.
Let's see. You're always in the other room. That's what it is.
I am always in the other room.
Yeah. Let's see. So what's the place, Ro, that we always go to on Divisadero? It's the famous place. Type it in. Nopa.
I just
Nopa.
said.
You just said Nopa?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? All right. Well, yeah, Nopa is, I think, is one of the restaurants that when we first moved to the city, we felt so cool going to, and we were treated so well, and they did such a good job with their execution. We thought, wow, these are some savvy folks. Like, we always aspired to be like them. And then
feel like it's kind of like Zuni in a way, but a little less fancy.
Right. Sushi Zone over on Pearl.
Yes.
Or is
we have more questions.
Yeah.
George or Jorge, what was your favorite place you traveled whilst on The Amazing Race? And wait, was that actually a true story?
Yeah. So 2 years before The Amazing Race, I walked from the south to the north of Japan. It was a 5-month-long hiking adventure. Okay. And I learned to speak Japanese. So in The Amazing Race, we'd gone down to just 3 teams, and we were racing to the finish line, and we went to Japan. And when we got to Japan, we got there last, and we kind of boosted ourselves up to the lead and kind of held the lead virtually up until the end. And we also ate a bowl of crickets in Thailand, which was a lot of fun.
Ooh. All right, Alyssa wants to know, hi Tyler, hi Manny. It's your friend Alyssa DeSantos. Wait, my neighbor.
Hi, Alyssa.
Question for Tyler, how do you manage changes on your menu? Is it really a quantitative approach or more based on feeling, what's in season, etc.? It's a great question.
Yeah, that's a great question. And really, it's all of that. It's quantitative. It's based on feeling. It's what's in season. It's like we're talking about survival. It's the feedback we've received from customers and also from our staff who eat a lot of the food as well. And we say, you know what, but really, if something's not moving, it's time to re-examine it. And that's one of my favorite parts of the restaurant business, working with our incredible chef, August, ideating, going down a wormhole of Google Images, other menus from other restaurants around the world, and then trying things. And if we like it, we try it. If it doesn't work, we remove it.
Isn't there kind of a crazy story about the boat thing that's coming out of the Woodhouse Fish Grill on Fillmore? Your dad built it or something? There's like a spike coming out of it.
Oh, the giant squid.
Giant squid.
Yes, there's. If you go to Woodhouse on Fillmore Street between Bush and Pine, there is a giant squid that's coming out of the restaurant in slow motion and wrapping its tentacles around the power lines.
So great. All right, Kate has a question. Kate Talbot, what is your favorite thing to eat at the moment from one of your restaurants? Also, can we have the queso recipe? We miss it, Kate and BJ. Oh, I
Aw.
miss your queso too, and your Impossible Burger. It's so good.
Ah, so sweet. Can you have the queso recipe? Um, I don't know. Can you? Favorite thing to eat? I've really been into the Impossible Burger. Honestly, like that is the thing I get. But I also really like our Impossible Vegan Grill, so our vegan mixed grill. So the mixed grill, traditionally, it's a bunch of different meats on a plate. It's just bam, animals.
Yeah.
But we do a vegan mixed grill, which is we do squash ribs, which are these like delicious grilled ribs with barbecue sauce, and we have creamed vegan corn, and it's just out of control delicious.
I have a quick question just on that. Oh, actually, no, I've already asked my questions. Rowan's got a question. Hi, guys. Hi, Rowan. I miss you. What a crazy time for restaurants. Seriously. What do you honestly think will be the likelihood of opening April 7th?
So I think the likelihood that, hey, brother, nice to see you. I think the likelihood of opening April 7th is very low. I think that what we're going to start to see is an adaptation to a road that is going to be a bumpy and long. It's going to be very difficult for a restaurant to open and then to close up again. Extremely financially and emotionally painful to do that. So I think we're going to start to see the advent of a lot more to-go business like we're doing now under a very strict protocol on how we run it. But as far as a timeline and when we're going to open, I think it's just too early to say. This virus doesn't seem to play by our hopes and our dreams. It plays by its own rules.
I guess my question to you on that, and to get serious for a second, you know, you've been in the restaurant industry collectively, your brothers and your family, for a very long time. How long do you think restaurants can last in a shutdown mode? I mean, let's assume a restaurant does not have a flush delivery and to-go business, which a lot of restaurants don't. Mine doesn't. How long do you think we can last before you just start to see dozens and dozens of restaurants just say, like, I can't reopen again. Like, it's just been too long. What's the cutoff point, do you think? A month and a half, 3 months? I mean, what is it?
Yeah, so a lot of it's going to be determined on kind of how landlords are treating their tenants, because you can pause a lot of your fixed costs, but rent, if you can't get either a great reduction or a freeze, is just going to wipe out your bank account. And then you've got no money to get started again, no money to regenerate your business, to put food in your refrigerators and hire all the staff. So ultimately, I think you're going to start to see, I mean, there already are restaurants that won't open again. Laconda across the street from us is not going to reopen again. So I think it's going to be a gradual, there are going to be restaurants that can hold on for a very long time because they just were able to freeze everything, and their landlord said, I get it. We're not going to be able to get any other tenants in here. We wanted whenever you can, or whenever the masses start reopening the restaurants. But in the meantime, we're going to just see restaurants kind of falling off one by one. It's going to be really sad. And no one is invincible from 18 months. I think that would be almost impossible.
So then my last question of the day before we let you go and do whatever it is you're doing, which I'm sure is interesting. Tell me, I want you to paint the picture of the first night of West of Pecos being reopened. I want to walk in, and I want you to tell me what it's going to feel like.
Oh my God. Wow. It almost brings tears to my eyes.
Yeah.
We've been doing a lot of hugging.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of hugging. Everyone who comes in has a risk that I will break their ribs hugging them so hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. It's going to be a good night.
Yeah, it's going to be so good. Shots on me.
All right, Tyler. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Really I love you, bud. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Good to see you. Keep in touch.